Baruch Hashem, we both have the schus, the privilege, the duty. Sorry. We both have the privilege, the duty of receiving calls, dealing with families, different challenges. Shmiel is more into the halacha aspect, Rav, Adain. So we're going to try and share with Olam a little bit some of the questions, frequently asked questions, and some of the answers, hopefully. Shmiel.
I should speak English or versteht Yiddish? Better English? English. Okay, if it's not my first language, Rabbi Yitzchok will help me. Yeah? Okay. A lot of people ask me the Shabbos, what if a child is a Machal Shabbos b'Fahesia? He drives a car, and if he's considered like a Machal Shabbos, yeah, if the yain is yain nesach, if he cooks the meals is Bishul Akim, or he's not considered like a Machal Shabbos, like a Gemara sagt, somebody is a Machal Shabbos b'Fahesia, Gemara sagt, it's like a Nachri. So this is the question I got from a few people. Rabbi Yitzchok, should I answer?
Can you repeat the question again, please?
The question is, when somebody is Machal Shabbos b'Fahesia, in halacha, it's considered like a goy. When he touches wine, it's yain nesach. If he cooks, it's Bishul Akim. So the question is, if such a kid is Machal Shabbos b'Fahesia, if this is considered like, if he's considered like a yid, or is considered, yeah? So the answer is, he's considered like a yid, 100%. He is not considered like a Machal Shabbos, and we shouldn't watch the wine. You don't have to buy yain mevushal. It can be normal wine. It's not considered like a goy. And when he cooks, you allowed to let him cook in the house. It's not considered like Bishul Akim. And the reason why, it's very pashut. Now Rabbi Yitzchok wrote a sefer. You saw the sefer? Tinik Shenishba. And the Gemara is such a concept of a Tinik Shenishba. Tinik Shenishba means a child who was born by Goyim, and he's a Tinik Shenishba by Noakim. Today, it's a Tinik Shenishbar. The Tinik was broken. The people who were by the Shir from Reb Shimon Russell a few minutes ago, he tried to explain what happened to this child when he was young. Or he was Chalila abused, molested, or he didn't fit in the system. And every day he went to school, he was broken. So it's a Tinik Shenishbar. It's not a pshat that somebody make up his mind, from now on, I don't want to keep the Torah. I want to be a Machal Shabbos. Like he has a choice. He made up his mind. I want to be Machal Shabbos. Chaz v'sholem. Everyone knows that these children, they don't want to be Machal Shabbos, and they don't want to do Averis. This is 100%. They are nishbar. It comes from an old sickness. Chaz v'sholem, to say that these children are sick. I got a lot of critic when I said it. A lot of these children had, I said a lot of shurim on the WhatsApp. It was called I don't remember now. Chizik Yilodem. Maybe you heard it, but I heard a lot of critic from a lot of these children. Why do you say we are sick? We are not sick. I'm not saying they're sick. They're smart, and they're not sick. But you understand what I mean to say. It comes from Nishbar. They were broken. The system broke them, and therefore it turned down what they are not Shomer Shabbos. But Chaz v'sholem, to say they are Machal Shabbos, they're not Yidden. They are Yidden. You're supposed to give tzedakah for them. It's not the pshat of Machal Shabbos, and you don't give tzedakah for them because you're not supposed to give tzedakah for Machal Shabbos. No, they are not considered like a Machal Shabbos. And I want to say, in Hilchas Tzedakah, you have to give for this child tzedakah more than every tzedakah in the whole world. Like when a father like has such a child and it costs him, let's say, $1,000 a month, and he can't give tzedakah because the whole tzedakah goes for this child. So in halacha, in Shulchan Aruch says that you have to give tzedakah for your family before you give tzedakah for other people. Yeah, right, Rabbi Yitzchok, you ask him? So we have to try to give tzedakah for this child, and we makayim the mitzvah that in this brings out a gewaltige schus in Shemayim that HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, you are taking care of your children, I will take care of my children. So we should know that they are Yidden and we have to be mechazik them.
The Gemara says in a few places that dysfunction caused by being broken is what purifies the kids. It's pure innocence after that. Shvirosai zuhi tarosai. There's only one thing that makes somebody tahir, completely tahir. The more dysfunctional you are, the less you're going to be judged for what you're doing. Next question.
Other question, what came in a lot, that I deal with my children the way of twisting parenting. Yeah, we all know about it. But my father, my mother, my shviger, they are against it. And they don't want I should go this way. And I always have a fight with them. They want, and always when this einikel comes, they are doing differently the way we are dealing with it. So the question is, I'm responsible that my father doesn't want I should go this way. I have to go a different way because my father told me I should go a different way. Or I have to do what I feel is the good thing for the child. Yeah, good question.
Difficult one.
I should answer? Or you?
Yeah, no. You're doing good.
Yeah, the answer is that kibbud avoim doesn't exist here. The kibbud avoim means, Shulchan Aruch says, kibbud avoim means when your father, your mother don't have what to eat, you have to make they should have what to eat. And also with the money from them. It's not from my money. In Shulchan Aruch is the psak halach is meshel av. You have to the money. Your father wants to buy him a pie pizza. He should give me the $10. I will go buy it to him. But I have to serve them food. But the lifestyle I want to live, even like I want to work, I want to have a type of a job. And my father is telling me, I don't want you to do this job. In halacha, you're not supposed to listen to him. I like this job, I can make money. Halacha, you can say for your father, I want to do this job. You shouldn't be a mechitziv, you shouldn't tell him that that's none of your business. You shouldn't, al yister as devariv, you shouldn't answer with chutzpah, but you don't have to listen to him. When it comes to this type of children, and you chose this way because you see that this is the way you have to deal with the children, you shouldn't listen to your parents. Even your parents, they are big tzaddikim, even rabbonim, even, don't listen to them. It doesn't have to do with kibbud avoim. And then we have to know that first we shouldn't listen to them, and then we have to know that it's a chesaron from our parents that are saying us what to do. Again, I'm trying to bring out, we should make up, it doesn't have to do with kibbud avoim. And the second thing, we have to know that they are not right. Our parents are not right to mixing in our business. That means, what's negaya for us, Be'ez Hashem, we will be grandparents. It's not our business how our children are dealing with their children. It's not our mission. Everybody has children. Everybody has to deal with their children. It's not a nafkemina for the zayde, for the babi, how the eniklach are. It's not their business. It's the business from the parents. So I mean to say, we have to understand that when you don't listen to them, it's not stam. It's not negay kibbud avoim. I mean to say they are wrong. They are wrong to why they say opinions how we should deal with our children. So we shouldn't feel bad. I'm not listening to my father, to my zaydi, to my shveh, to my shviger. No, it's none of them of their business. So therefore, we have to know. We have to do the thing what we think that's right. I said yesterday, a lot of times it comes in sveikis. Maybe we are going the wrong way. Who said that's the right way? I explained it yesterday that it doesn't exist a thing in this world we should do and we shouldn't have sveikis. This is the way it goes. Every good way has misnagdim. You chose this way, you have to go with this way, and we have to say it could be it's not the right way, but this is the way I chose. My father doesn't want us to go this way, but that's the way I chose, even it could be it's the wrong way. Because that's the way I chose to want to go. Mascom?
Yeah. I'll tell you a question that I was asked many times, and it's a very sensitive one, but it's playing on all our hearts. We all went through years with our kids, with our children, our challenged and challenging teenagers, and first we go through the wars, and then Baruch Hashem we get to some place where it looks like there's hope, at least direction, and we get a mahalach, we get trained, and Baruch Hashem, there's no more wars in the house, the child is becoming more functional, he's still not keeping anything, and we're being told, patience, keep loving them, keep twisting, and it will happen. Is that true? Yes, completely. Is there anything that we can do to, parents often feel, okay, right, I've done it right now, he's healthier, but we want him to be from. We have a goal. Is there nothing we can do? Like, everything's fine. Everyone loves you. The pain is gone. You're even going to a therapist, and you're even working through your, the old stuff. But, you're still not keeping Shabbos. You're still not doing anything. How do we move them on to the next stage? So I'll mention a few points, but very bekit, so we have to keep them in mind. Number one, there's an integral difference between a goal, between a she'ifa and a tzipiyah, between a destination, a goal, and an expectation. A goal is something that you strive for, not necessarily somewhere you have to reach. An expectation is something that you expect to happen. When you don't reach your goal, that's okay. But if your expectations get let down, then you start feeling failure. Nobody fails when they don't reach their goal, but you fail when your expectations are not met. So we have to know, is Yiddishkeit a goal, or is it an expectation? The answer is both. But keep that in mind. How do we know? For example, we're all trying to work on ourselves in our own lives, and it's nothing to do with here, nothing to do with challenged teenagers. We're all on a journey. How do I know if the point I'm trying to get to is a realistic expectation or a far-sighted goal? The answer is try. Try it once, try it twice, try it 3 times. If it usually works, then keep it as an expectation and just keep moving. Keep moving and you'll keep falling, and that's the way it goes. If it's just not happening, you can keep it as a goal, but leave it. It's not an expectation anymore. That's number one. So whatever we're going to discuss, if with your child, you're trying to bring him from where he is now to the next stage, whatever you've marked it to be, you can try. We'll soon see how. You can try. If it doesn't work, let go. If it becomes an expectation instead of a goal, and it leads to rejection and failure, we're going to be plummeting straight down. Number 2, it's very important to know the difference between a Jew, Judaism, and a Jewish culture. And if we get those confused, then we're going to be completely out. And much of what's happened that's caused these kids to go down is because we've got that confused. It's like, if there's something about Judaism I'm not keeping, that means I'm less of a Jew. Or if there's something about the Jewish culture, like wearing a hat and jacket, like having long hairs, like not eating gebrockt, or, there's many examples.
Spitzel.
The different levels of head covering for the men and the women. It's like, is that to do with being a Jew? Is it to do with Judaism? Or is it a part or a section of the Jewish culture? And we must not get that confused. Who he is as a Jew is number one. We discussed it over the weekend. You're supposed to love him for being a Jew, and nothing he does or doesn't do can affect that. He's not less of a Jew or more of a Jew than Moshe Rabbeinu, whether he's keeping mitzvahs or not keeping mitzvahs. What is the difference with the mitzvahs? It's Judaism. Okay, but are you getting confused between Judaism and a culture? And just to keep it broad, but don't go easy with, don't pull me on the word. Minhagim, chumras, right? And there are many chumras and minhagim which are brought in Shulchan Aruch. Waiting 6 hours between meat and milk, is that Judaism or is that a culture? So it's very important to know. If we would be speaking to a forum of yeshiva bachrim, we would say it's Judaism. It's a halacha. It might be a chumrah. The shach says the Yerushalayim should do it. It's your minig. You've always done it. There's a problem of nedarim. So it's true. That means it could be Judaism. But in essence, is it Judaism? Maybe not. The Shulchan Aruch quotes that there's all sorts of people and minhagim who wait 3 hours, who wait 1 hour. So I don't know if you heard this, I think I said over this week, where there was a boy who was eating on Yom Kippur because he had written himself off. He said, I was the biggest Avarian in the world, so not eating on Yom Kippur wouldn't have made a difference. And I asked him, tell me about the Averis you did that wrote you off. He said, well, I just couldn't wait more than 5 and a bit hours. And so in his mind, that's Judaism. So I'm not, and Judaism and being a Jew, Bichlal, got confused. So if I'm not waiting the 6 hours, then I'm not keeping Judaism. If I'm not keeping Judaism, then I'm no association to being a Jew, and everything went out the window. And then I took a step back and says, number one, you're a Jew without Judaism. Number two, this has nothing to do with Judaism. It's a minig. And it's a good one, and it's something which might be a goal, but, let's put things into perspective. Dain Weiss, when I was learning for Smicha, and I was once speaking to one of the very close Talmidim of the Minchas Yitzchok, a famous Pesach of the last generation. And his Talmud told me, you're going into Hirah now. First and foremost, any shaila that comes up to you, make sure you're crystal clear. Is this a Doraisa? Is it a Rabbanon? Is it a Gemara? Is it Goinim? Is it Rishonim? Is it a Chumrah? Is it across the board? Is it a Minig? Now, I'm not expecting all of you to do that. You have Rabbanim for that. You have husbands or Chavrusas, or, you've got to ask the people you have to ask. But make sure that we're not confusing it, because if we confuse it, these kids are going to get confused. And if we, let's take the culture in its more extreme, wearing payas, longer payas, wearing every person in their minig, what's called long, what's called payas. But is having long payas, is wearing a hat and jacket, is that Yiddishkeit? Is that religion? It's definitely not religion. Is it nice? Maybe. We're not discussing that now. Is there any good reason that all people that belong to a certain culture and society all dress the same way? Maybe. It's not what we're here for. But is it Judaism? No. And if you put the same stress on how could you go and daven without a hat on, the same stress as how could you be Mechalel Shabbos, somebody is going to tell him one day that wearing a hat and jacket, that's not Yiddishkeit. So he's going to say, so no, it's Shabbos, because it's all become blended. And we're going to confuse the kid, and not everybody can stick with every culture. Whether it's a lekatchil or b'diavad, whether it's supposed to be that way or not, is irrelevant. Not every Jew is expected, and that's talking about healthy Jews. All of us healthy people are expected to keep Yiddishkeit, Judaism, to the last dot. Are we all expected to conform to a specific culture? Not necessarily. You have to keep Shulchan Aruch, but do you have to walk around in the heat of the summer with a hat and jacket? It might be a nice thing to do, it might be stupid. It's certainly not Yiddishkeit. The first Avera in the world, the Chet of Adam Rishon, the Ovos Jabnosn in Perek Aleph says that the Chet was, Hashem said, don't eat it. Don't eat from the tree. Not touching the tree is a wonderful thing. It's a chumrah, it's a harchoka, it will protect you. But that got blended, right? And she said, Hashem told me I'm not allowed to touch the tree. So the snake pushed her and said, you touched the tree, nothing happened. And then we got blended between touching the tree and eating the tree, and before we knew it, she was eating from the tree. Right? And that's what the Mishnah says. Make sure you know what's a chumrah. You can take on all the chumras you want, but make sure you know it's a chumrah. And make sure you don't blend it. And I'll come to another point. We've all been trained. Sorry? Yeah, I'm saying.
Not really a question for comment. I didn't experience that from Rabbi or teachers. I was from a young age at 5 years old when I became strong. Dragged my family along with me, and then as I was getting married and all this, to not experience what you just said is very beautiful. And then I didn't know how to do that to my kids, and it's just I'm happy to hear this, and I hope that all the Rabbanim are going to start separating between minhagim, chumras, and basics, especially in the law of marriage.
It's very important.
But the main reason why you brought that up was about when parents want to see the next step.
That's right. So I'm going to come to that now. Right. So that's when it comes to goals and expectations, try and focus your expectations not on being the Jew, because it's irrelevant, and not on the culture. The first thing we have to do is the basics in Yiddishkeit. And if you don't know what Yiddishkeit is, ask your Rav. Find out what the first thing to work on is. Somebody came to Rav Shach and said, I work in Kirov, and this kid who's Baruch Hashem coming closer, he's happy to take on one thing. One thing, it doesn't matter what. One thing I'm happy to do. What should we tell him to do? That's a question for a Gadol or a question for a Rav. Obviously, even let's assume that we know, everything we've discussed and we're going for the basics. So what's now the basics of the basics? Where are we going with this? It's a question you should ask a Rav. It depends on the circumstances. Just it's interesting to know, what did Rav Shach answer? And I'm not saying that you should do this halacha l'maisa. I'm not giving you a psak. But it's just the insight of a Gadol. He said to them, make sure that the hechsherim are good. You should keep macholos asuras, kashrus. I would have thought Shabbos, so he's not going to eat it. It's not going to be 100% kosher. No, he's being mechalos Shabbos. He's being over on the isurim of Gilui Aroyos. He's doing lots of serious averos. So kashrus, that will come later. So they asked Rav Shach, why did you pick that? So Rav Shach says that the Gemara says in Yuma Daf Lamed Tes Amud Aleph, that when somebody eats macholos asuros, then his brain gets a bit messed up, right? The term the Gemara uses is timtum hamoyach, right? V'nitmeisem bom v'nitamtem bom. In English, they translated it as contaminated. It's the same word. It contaminates the brain. It's called timtum. It says if his brain is contaminated with macholos asuros, nothing's going to move forward. We ain't going anywhere. First, let him eat kosher. His brain will get clearer. And once his brain is clearer, he's going to keep Shabbos, he's going to do everything right. And that's what happened. I'm not telling you it's halacha l'maisa, but it's, for those who feel that there's family members that need a bit of clarity, it might be worth focusing on the kashrus a bit more. So once we have our goal...
I just wanted to clarify here that the kids in pain, I believe the first step is to establish a relationship.
Yeah, we're getting there. Right, okay.
Before we...
I'm getting there.
Oh, they'll be better if we make sure that they keep...
No, Chas v'shalom, I'm getting that right now. No, I'm coming to that right now. So, like we just heard, it's very, very important, and the Olim likes to get excited. Oh, we're now, okay, so it's not a goal, it's not an expectation, we're moving on. Most of our kips, of these kids, when we first start out with them, when we first get guidance, they're in pain, they're rebellious, they're angry, and anything to do with Yiddishkeit is going to send them further away. Not a word. When they, by mistake, do something that feels Yiddish, or feels that it conforms with Yiddishkeit, by mistake he left his night couple on or something, don't say a word. Not a word. If he feels that you're appreciating him for something good, religious he's done, it's again kluya b'davar. It's again, you mean you have an agenda, you're trying to makar of me because that's the in thing today, and so I'm now your mitzvah. If you do that, it's terrible. The first thing, and for those who are following over the weekend, there's Ava, there's Kovod. First thing that has to happen is the relationship. He has to feel 100% that you're with him, you're blended with him, irrespective of what he's doing. Nothing. You can be the worst of the worst, and he'll feel on a 100% level, you're with him, you're together. Only after that, when the relationship is so good that number one, he'll do anything he can to retain the relationship. And to keep that relationship, to build the relationship, it's worth his while. Not you keep Shabbos or else. Or it's not, if you don't keep Shabbos, there's somebody bigger than you, stronger than you that can punish you. No, if I want to keep Shabbos, it's because the people are close to me, the relationship is important to me, and I know it means something to them. Till you get to that point that he's happy to sacrifice for the relationship, there's nothing doing. Once the relationship gets to that point, and I would encourage you, don't do this on your own. You're getting guidance wherever you live, either it's over here with the group that we're all part of, or it's going to be your local Rav or coach or whoever it's going to be. Make sure there's somebody with a finger on the pulse and they realize it's time. They're ready. And then it's not about preaching. Generally speaking, don't tell him, I think you're healthy now. Can we cut out all this nonsense? No. But slowly, you'll look, for those who were with us this morning, find the point. There's something that he's keeping. And if you don't find it, you better find it. There's something he's keeping. When you find that point and the relationship is good, now is the time where you can slowly and subtly focus on bringing out that point. Somebody once asked me, I had a 23-year-old kid who was in a terrible situation, dysfunctional home, everything. He calls me up and says, I've been to all the therapists, I've been around the world getting help, nobody could help me. And what makes you think that you can help me? So I said, I don't know why you called me. But he asked me what's on my card. Why should anyone come to you? So I said, listen, I'm not a therapist. I'm actually just a simple Jew. But if you want to know the difference between me and the therapist, I'll make it very clear to you. And again, I'm not talking about all therapists, and there are a tremendous amount of good therapists. But I said to him, generally speaking, when you take the world of therapy on large, he's going to make you become a healthy human. A healthy goy, because that's all he knows. He knows that there's a body. We have Ritzona, we have desires, we have we have our taivas, we have whatever it is. We have our whole makeup, and he's going to try and make that healthy. But there's one component that he's not associating to. You have a neshama. He might be building your guf. You'll become completely healthy, but inside of you, there's a little place inside that's crying out. I'm a neshama, I also need to be coached back to health. I'm starving. He might be putting on all the game, I'm so happy, you have to stay home, I can go out on Shabbos and have fun. No, inside there's a void, a big black void. And if you can't fill that up, you're not going nowhere. So the reason that one has to go to a therapist who's got some association, I'm not talking now about, is he black hat, not black hat, no. He's got to associate and identify with the fact that there's a very strong component inside you called your neshama. And that neshama needs sustenance, health, exactly like the body does. It's got to be done right. Once he's back to the place of he's healthier, the body's there before the soul, the body's healthy, his hormonal system is working right, the whole system is now working right as a person, now find that neshama. And it's somewhere there. If you can't find it, you're failed. Right? Somebody, quite a big therapist in Yerushalayim, called me up and said, I had a case for you. I said, I'm not a therapist. What do you want from me? He says to me, I can't move on with this kid until I find something positive with him. I worked with him for a year. I can't find anything good in him. But I said, I know that after an hour, you'll be past that. And it's nothing to do with me. You just have to ask the right questions, and he'll tell you what it is. So when you find that spark, that Shabbos that he kept, we gave some examples this morning. Even if it's something as stupid as not eating gebroks, but he will come home with his car and they'll say that 2 a.m, but he won't eat gebroks. Whatever it is. And find that point, and then don't say, I can see, Baruch Hashem, soft, you're coming to your senses and you're not eating gebroks. Don't do that. That's not going to work. But if you bring out start by acknowledging, it must have been so hard for you. And I'm so proud of you that in spite of the fact that you're hungry, it was late, you have this minig and you're prepared to be moiseh nefesh for this minig. I think it's amazing. Give a compliment. Don't make it conditional. No, just acknowledge the fact that it was hard for him and that he's got to the point of, wow. And if you really want this to work, to move on, then don't just stop there and say, it must have been hard, I'm so proud of you. Say something about what it shows about him. You're a strong person, you're the man, right? It shows that you have strength. It shows that even though you're weak and tired, you have the stamina to fight through that and to stand up for what's important to you. Don't tell him, yeah, I don't think it's so important. No, find that point and associate it in his mind, let him associate it to something about himself, not just about something good he's done. Because if it's just, I'm proud of you, you didn't eat gebrocht, okay, so maybe tomorrow I won't eat gebrochts again, which is good. But if you say, wow, that shows that you have strength to overcome struggles, it shows that you're maturing to the point where you have values, you're a person of values, of principles, you're a principled person, oh, so I'm a principled person. It's going to come in 6 months' time, Shabbos, and he's going to remember that, I'm a principled person. Well, if I'm principled, Shabbos is quite important, no? And being a principled person is then going to make him do more and more things because of who I am. And we move forward with that, but make sure that we don't lose sight of the fact that what he's craving for is acceptance, irrespective and not associated to what he's keeping. Make sure that the compliments that you're giving him for who he is, for being the Jew, is 1,000 times more than the compliments he's getting for his Judaism. Don't sidetrack. You spent a year with the guidance here. We only focus on the person. That's amazing. Oh, now we're starting with the gebrochts, so we're going to focus on the gebrochts. No, because you'll lose the Jew while fighting for the Judaism. Make sure that you keep the focus non-stop on the Jew, on the respecting and appreciating him for who he is as a person. And on the backdrop of that, you can slowly say things, compliment, acknowledge the positive things he's doing with Judaism. Anything to do with culture, leave. If he never gets there, you will not have lost your goal. Our goal should be Judaism, not the culture. Let him, so he'll be less Hasidish, so he'll be less Litvish, so he'll be less, heavy. It's okay. Let him come to Gan Eden with Taryag mitzvahs. It's no small feat. What happens if your kid, first of all, I didn't say you should mention the neshama.
Rachnius, too.
I would ask him, just imagine you had a neshama, what would it mean about you? The question, it's never the question. This is not Einstein rediscovering religion. So what's his question? Is he? Yeah, you think so?
It's a question or an answer?
Ask him, what would it mean? What would it mean? Just imagine, okay, forget the proof. Imagine you had a neshama, what would it mean about you? Not what would it be mechai of you. Don't ask him, well, if you had a neshama, okay, I'm right, so I can't explain it to you, but you have a neshama, you're going to go to hell. No. You're not telling him, you're not asking him what's neshama mechai of you. You were trying to get to the emotion, to the place inside him, which is, if I have a neshama, I'm in trouble. Why? Because if I have a neshama, then I have to learn. I can't read. Why? Because God created me dyslexic. And if I have a neshama, I'm going to go to hell because I didn't keep Shabbos for the last year. And my teacher told me that I'm such a failure because I didn't do whatever it is, no one's going to marry me, etc., etc. So having a neshama for him means you're doomed. Right? So the most comfortable place for him is, let's just forget this whole neshama bit, and then I'm safe. There's no neshama, there's no expectations. No expectations, there's no failure. No failure, I'm going to have a happy life. So it's not that he's going on a theological or a philosophical quest for, is there a neshama? We don't have those people around. Right? Ask him, if you had a neshama, what would it mean about you? And if the relationship is good, he'll give you the answer. And that'll be the beginning of it'll be the beginning of your next leg of the journey.
I want to say what Rabbi Yitzchok said before, that this bacher came home, he didn't eat gebroks. I know for a fact, a lot of parents would make a mistake, would say for the child, yeah, I'm very proud of you that you have the strength not to eat gebroks, but gebroks is only a minig. It's better you should teach, you should be Shomer Shabbos. If you have the strength, do a different thing. Why go to a minig from gebroks, right? And this is wrong. Chas v'shalom, never do it. If this child took the minig of gebroks, I don't know why he took that minig, but let's say he took it, be a mechazik for it. Wow, you have such strength, you have such koiches hanefesh, you are a strong guy. Yeah, be a mechazik the strength that you have, but don't try to say that it's better other thing than this. One thing I want to say a different thing that people are asking me to say there. Why we see the children when they come back, they came back, Baruch Hashem. They're showing, like Rabbi said before, they're showing Tarek mitzvahs. They do Tarek mitzvahs. But usually, no one from, like, Kamata Bli Yotzem and Aklal wants to go with the uniform. They don't want to go to Shtreimel, they don't have payas, they don't want to cover the hair, like they want to go with not with hair in the street, but with a sheitel, not covered sheitel, and they don't want to go with by the Hasidim we cut the hair, the married woman, so they don't want to cut the hair. The question is why. They always say, if they come back, why they don't want to come back all the way? I may answer?
Yeah.
The Torah is very, very poshut. Usually the reason why, one of the reasons, again, like I said yesterday, the Rabbi Shalom create this type of neshamas, and this is the journey of this neshamas. They have to be they have a different journey than us. That's the real reason. But usually the oldest, this type of children are very angry on the system. Understand what I'm saying? It's clear? They're very, very angry on the system. They feel it's foolish, it's not emes, it's sheker. Because why? Because the shtreimel is before Shmiel Shabbos. Yeah, going covered is before any halach in the Torah. That means this is the way this is the way we are being mechinach. That's the way the moisdes. Yeah, that's the way the moisdes are. The message they are giving for the children. If someone goes with shura payas, he's a shegitz. Like somebody told me that in square you say Tehillim Shabbos morning, and he started to be Mechal Shabbos. I asked him why. He told me because I anyway can say Tehillim Shabbos morning because I can say Tehillim Chanshkan Gadol. So was hat es mit Chil Shabbos? It's not the same thing. Not saying Tehillim in the morning Shabbos, so it's the same thing like Chil Shabbos. So that means that they are so angry on the system. Why they put the culture, like he called it before the Torah, that they are so angry they don't want to go back there. So the anger causes them, they shouldn't, and they will never come back. I'm telling you, they will never come back. Why? Because this is not the Torah. They came back to the Torah. They didn't come back to the... We should go with the Levish. Yeah, it's a nice thing. Yeah, we're not going in this. It's a nice thing. Yeah, we should go with the same Levish. Yeah. But the children who are injured, when they come back, they want to come back to Yiddishkeit. They don't want to come back to what causes for them so much pain. That's right?
Yeah, 100%. I would add one point, which is very important. Keep your fingers on the pulse. You might try this. It might work amazing. It might not. It might backfire. You might have triggered him with, this is this religious thing coming back again. And even though everything looks amazing, if he gets triggered, it might mean you've done something wrong. It might mean you haven't done anything wrong. It doesn't mean you have to have done something wrong. Don't do it again. That's the one motto. Don't do what doesn't work. Only do what works. You can try. Life is all about risking. If you don't risk, you don't get anywhere. If it doesn't work, don't think, I'm now on this quest, on this crusade of religion, and I'm not going to stop anywhere. You'll send him right back to where he was. If it doesn't work, call up whoever the coach is, whoever the guide is, whoever it is, call up, ask, I did this. They might say, how dare you do that? So say, well, I heard on a panel that, okay, they'll say, well, he doesn't know what he's talking about. So say, okay, fine, so you'll do it differently. Whatever it is, if it doesn't work, don't do it again. Seek advice. Maybe it was premature, maybe it was done wrong, maybe it could be done differently, maybe we have to wait a bit longer, whatever it is. Don't get carried away.
I think the challenge sometimes with children in yeshiva, sometimes they're told to do things and they don't understand why they're doing it. And I think the children, in order to get them to make